Okay guys, so it's dinner time and I decided I'm going to make something for dinner that I have the ingredients of in my pantry and in my fridge. And what I'm going to make today is a stir-fry udon noodle. So basically, I've just decided what I'm going to put in it is what I've got in my fridge and what I've got in my pantry. But before we dig into the actual recipe, I want to talk about some of the ingredients that I am actually putting in it that you may not have. So this is one ingredient that I'm going to put in it, and it's called a Maggi sauce. Some people might say it's Maggi. It's actually both correct. You could either say Maggi or Maggi. In Europe, they say Maggi. But Maggi sauce is how I say it, is an actual fermented wheat protein. It's a dark, rich, kind of smoky flavor to it. And you could use it for any type of stir fries that you want to use. And if you don't have this sauce, things that you can use is the likes of soy sauce. Like I said, this is a fermented wheat protein, so obviously this is not gluten-free. If you're sort of celiac or you want to have a gluten-free stir-fry, you could also use tamari, which is a soy-based product as well, but it is a gluten-free product. The other main ingredient that I'm putting in here is also it's called the black vinegar. And the black vinegar is a Chinese black vinegar, and what it is, it's made from glutinous rice and malt as well. So it's darker in color, as you can see. It's a little bit smoky as well, a little sweeter than vinegar, but I love these two ingredients. I always have in my cupboards, and I love making my stir fries with black vinegar and Maggi, or Maggi sauce. If you don't have black vinegar, you could always use rice vinegar or plain vinegar or even balsamic vinegar. And the other ingredient, obviously, is my noodles. So what I'm doing is I'm using an udon noodle. This you can buy in any Asian market. It's in the dry goods area, or you can buy this frozen. They're kind of put in these little vacuum seal packets, but what I mean is they're not refrigerated. You can buy them on the counter. And so I'm using 4 packets of this, or like I said, you could use fresh udon noodles, and I'm going to basically follow the instructions on the back on how to cook these noodles. And other than that, all the other ingredients that I found in my fridge. What I'm going to use is shiitake mushrooms here, and what I've done is I've just sliced them. I'm going to use brown mushrooms, or they're called cremini mushrooms as well, and I've just quartered them. I'm using spinach. If you don't have spinach, you could either use kale, you could use mustard greens, which is quite nice, but I have spinach in my fridge. I've got some green onions here, and obviously the black vinegar and the Maggi sauce. We had some roast pork for dinner, and these are leftover roast pork shoulders, so I've just cut them up into pieces. I'm going to put that in as well. You could use chicken, you could use leftover chicken, roast chicken, leftover beef, or you can even use shrimp. And I don't know if you remember, we did the garlic chili paste, and I'm going to use that I made myself here in my stir fry, but I didn't put an amount of how much I'm going to use here, but it's just basically to your taste, okay? And obviously I've got some green onions here as well that I finely chopped. So I'm ultimately making a stir fry. So stir fry is a quick cook. So you have to have some things ahead of time ready so that you can be ready as you're quickly cooking this dish. So what I have here for you is I've already started my my water boiling for my udon noodles, because literally it takes about 3 minutes for that to cook. And so while that's nice and hot, I can quickly add my noodles to that while I'm also doing the rest of the stir fry. Okay, so I've already preheated my pan. It's on maximum, so it's high heat. I'm gonna add some grapeseed oil. If you don't have grapeseed oil, you could use canola oil or sunflower oil. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna fry my mushrooms. You don't want to put all the mushrooms in here because that's going to overcrowd your pan. I'm going to do it in 2 batches. But what you're going to be careful of is just putting your mushrooms in that oil, or that oil will splatter on you and you don't want to get burnt. So if you look here, what I've done is I've roasted my mushrooms. I kind of want to have that roasted mushroom flavor. That's why I like doing it. I don't just like to add the raw mushrooms into my stir fry. So if you can see here, there's a bit of coloring on my mushroom right there. So I'm going to take this out, and then I'm going to do my other batch of mushrooms. Okay, so I've got my second batch of mushrooms roasting. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my udon noodles to my water. And just plop that into boiling water because that's going to take about 3 minutes to cook. And I can just keep an eye on that as I'm doing my stir fry, making sure that it doesn't overcook, okay? Make sure it's on maximum. Okay, so all my mushrooms have roasted, and I put them aside, set them aside in a bowl. And now I'm just gonna add about a tablespoon of grapeseed oil. There's a little bit of oil left in there from the mushrooms, and what I'm gonna do now is add my protein. I just wanna reconstitute my pork. So just giving it a bit of a fry. So now I'm gonna add my green onion. Give that a bit of a stir. While I'm doing that, I'm just gonna take a quick look at my noodles. So you want to just soften up a little bit. And I think that's pretty good. Turn off the heat, but I'll leave that in the water just to continuously cook a little bit. So now my onions have sweat a little bit. So what I'm gonna now do is add a bit of this chili garlic paste. I think I want this a little bit spicy, so I'm gonna add about 1.5 teaspoons. You know what? Let's do another half. So that's 2 teaspoons I put in there, but that's all to your liking, right? Excuse me. You wanna do it to however spicy you want. So that's how much I wanted. So I added 2 teaspoons. Give that a stir. I'm gonna put back, excuse me, the chilies are really going in there. I'm gonna put in my mushrooms. Wow, the chili is really, really strong, so it's making me cough. Now I'm gonna add my Maggi sauce. So, keeping my heat as high. I'm gonna add my black vinegar. All right, so I've let that simmer for probably about 1.5 to 2 minutes. You just kind of want to reduce some of that liquid. And then now I'm gonna add my noodles to there. I've just brought the pot of noodles close to the other pan, and I'm gonna simply just add my noodles to that. Some of that water from the noodles that we cook the noodles in will go in there, which is fine because the starch that are in the noodles are gonna help thicken that sauce a little bit. So I've added my noodles to my pan with all the ingredients. I'm gonna take a little bit of this noodle water, and I'm gonna add probably about 2.5 tablespoons. Again, just to help thicken that sauce. And at this moment, I'm gonna add my spinach. The spinach doesn't take long to cook, so it just literally goes on top. I still do have my heat on. And then now I'm just gonna toss and let the spinach wilt within the heat of the noodles and the sauce. It's a little messy here, but don't worry. So if you look, I'm just tossing the noodles around so that it all melts together. But what I am gonna add to this is just gonna do a drizzle of roasted sesame seed oil just to give it that little bit of flavor, and toss it around again. And that's pretty much it. You just want to make sure that the noodles are coated in the sauce. As you can see, the sauce has dried up a little bit, and it's coating the noodles. And there you go, dinner is served. All right guys, so I've dished up my noodles. So what I'm gonna do is, I actually found this furikake in my cupboard. And what it is, it's a dry Japanese seasoning. It usually consists of roasted seaweed, some sesame seeds, even some fish flakes like bonito in it. Sometimes you can get it without the fish flakes, but I love it as a topping for my stir fries and noodles and even just rice. And I'm just gonna put a little tiny bit on top. Again, just upping up the flavor, bringing up its umami.